Hey, what's up, family? Swing Trader Tone here, as promised. It's still January 1st. Still Happy New Year. But as promised, I told you I was gonna make a video to kind of show you guys what to expect on the day-to-day from me. And I'm gonna set my timer because I also did promise it'll be somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes ish. So just keep that there because your boy could talk, man. I could run on and get off topic and get off track. So I'll try to keep it to that time frame just so you're not here all day looking at stuff. Um so I'll go ahead and share my screen. So like I said, I'll probably come in, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. And share my screen with you guys. And make sure that you're able to see my screen. I think you can see my screen because I see myself in a little window over here. So go ahead and pull that down. And yeah, like so, and I see this dang floating bar that I need to get rid of. I've learned that. And I need to share just in case, share some sound in case I bring somebody in, hide this floating bar. Okay. I'll get faster at that as we go. But see, this is my trading chart. This is Trading View for those that don't know, and could get you a discount on your Trading View too. But this is where I do all my charting. Right now we're looking at Tesla, and for those beginners that just coming in and don't really know anything, I know it just all looks kind of Greek. And there's just so much, man. There's just so much that I could teach you guys if you're just starting out and you're a beginner. I mean, from candles to support and resistance to channels to speed lines to gaps to head and shoulders patterns to Fibonacci retracements. I mean, I got you though. You know what I mean? If you are just a beginner starting out, go ahead and leave me some questions in the chat or comments on the page and I help you out, as far as setting up your charts and, like I said, getting a trading view or opening up a brokerage account. I use E-Trade. Um, but you can use shoot any brokerage account you want. They all gonna have your ability to invest in a trade in those. I just use E-Trade because it's what I like, and TradingView because they are actually the best charting software in my opinion. Um, but as you see, like the last trading day that was yesterday was actually, yep, the market was open yesterday. I already knew I'm in a few plays. I'm in Tesla, Meta, UNH, Pfizer, Trade Desk, and beyond. I don't have anything in the SPY or silver right now, but I'm watching them because I will. So I already knew I'm actually trading shares of Tesla and leverage shares, which is this TSLL. And it tells you right here that it's Direxion Daily TSLL Bull, 2 times shares and leverage shares, so they give you 2x. Um, and it's just a lot less expensive, right? So if I was buying Tesla and I wanted to get shares at $449.72, if I wanted to buy 10 shares, that'd be $4,490, almost $4,500. I could buy 10 shares here for 190 bucks. And they act like shares, meaning that if it goes up a dollar, it goes up a dollar, on the TSLL as well, which is the beautiful thing. You can also play options, there's some option play. I play some leap options. So I have leaps in Pfizer and Trade Desk and beyond. And once again, leaps are anything that you hold for over a year. So my expiration dates are like January 17th. We'll take a look at it in a second in my brokerage account. But anything over a year, you have leaps. Why do people do leaps? They just want more time for the move to make. There's also some good tax benefits of doing leaps instead of getting paid. I mean, instead of getting taxed at maybe like your 40% federal tax, might be down to 20%, 15%. In Texas, I'm in Texas, we don't have any state tax, so I don't have to worry about that. But as far as federal taxes are concerned, you get tax, um, regular capital gains taxes, regular income tax. You might get taxed at 40%. if you're doing day trades or if you're doing swing trades, a week out, a month out, anything under a year, you're gonna get taxed at that rate. Anything over a year, which is where the big boys play, the institutions and the banks, just like and wealthy people, they're not looking at day-to-day bread. They might be playing with like 100 million, $1 billion, and taxing 100 million, $1 billion is crazy. You know what I mean, right? So 40% of a billion, $400 million for taxes. Nah, they're gonna hold it and play longer term, 2 years out, 5 years out, and reap the tax benefits. There's also different ways to not pay taxes and avoid taxes, and maybe we'll get into that another time when I'm actually teaching. But once again, I could kind of look before I even go into my brokerage account. I could look and see like if I'm up or down. So the last trading day, I'm down 42 cents. I have 250 shares of TSLL, so I'm down 42 cents on that. Meta, I'm down 60 cents on my METU shares. I also have 250 shares of that. UNH, I have 160 shares. Actually, put an extra 1,000 the other day. I got a check and threw 1,000 in the brokerage account and got 10 more shares of UNHG. Already had 150, got 10 more, but that's down 21 cents. And I'm not tripping because I have these targets that I'm gonna try to hit. And like I said, this page is really just to go over the day to day. So I'm not really gonna go into that. I'm not gonna go into how I got my targets or the strategies that I'm using, so forth and so on. I'm literally just gonna go probably from my charts, take a look at it. If I'm down, from if it's red or green, go over to my brokerage account. And you can see right here, see there's no capping with me. I'm gonna be very, very transparent. Right now, total assets is at 17,721.08. That's as of yesterday because I'm down $288.60, which I kind of already knew looking at these. I could do the math in my head like, shoot, if I'm down 60 cents per share on MetU and I have 250 shares, 250 times 60 cents gives you um this number. Well, this is my options account. I actually have it broken down into two separate accounts. My options account, I have, like I said, I'm playing these leaps. You see, my expiration is January 15th, 2027. I got these maybe like a month, maybe, yeah, maybe a month and a half ago with that much time waiting. So I don't have to worry about them trying to hit my 100 strike price or 80 strike price even any time in 2026. I expected they're going to hit like in May or June, and then all of this total gain, -32, -19, -38, that'll be like up like 60%, 100%, 300%, because I know my targets, so I don't stress out about being in the red at all. Plus, I have plenty of time. A lot of people play options and they have like a week expiration. Some people have zero, zero DTE, 0 days till expiration. I'm not playing those. I can play those. I'm not playing those. I'm looking for big gains. Also, another thing, I'll give you a quick little strategy. If your price actually goes down and you're in negative, the last price is 135, but you initially paid 191, then you can buy more of this, which will average down the price paid, and this will automatically go down, and you have more contracts, and when it does hit its target, you make more bread. Also have a separate account just for trading shares. And the reason why I do that is because at some point I want to have so much money in this account that you'll be able to borrow against it. It's almost like having your own bank. So if I have $100,000 in shares, right now the net account value in shares is 15,577 and 36 cents. Say I wanted to go ahead and get a car. I could go ahead and borrow from the shares account, which they'll only let you do if you don't have any options in there because options are risky. They know you can lose your options money, but if you have shares, it's pretty stable. You could borrow, sometimes up to 60%, 50%, 40%, sometimes up to 60% on say like Tesla. They know Tesla's not going nowhere. It's not going to bankrupt. It's not going to fold. They know Meta is not going to fold. They'll let you borrow money against, the value of your shares. And this is what rich folks do. Wealthy people, they never sell their shares. They keep it in there. They know it's going to keep appreciating. So what they do is they just borrow against it. When you borrow against it, it's not an actual gain. It's not a capital gain. You're borrowing against it, and then so you don't get taxed on it. So let's just say, for instance, if I had $100,000 in Meta and I wanted to borrow some money, I could borrow $20,000 against it, not pay any taxes, and then buy what I need to buy. Can't put the money in more shares. You can't reinvest the money. Frown upon that, and they'll shut you down. And don't even try it. All right. They know. They know what you're trying to do with that bread if you do it. They'll search other brokerage accounts, they'll know. But you know, I mean, you borrow your $20,000, you go on vacation, go on a trip, buy yourself something, whatever you wanted to buy. And because you should, enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? You did some good investing and you want to take some money out to play, take 30,000 out or take 40,000 out, buy yourself a car, buy yourself whatever, you know what I mean? You want to do Christmas shopping, and then you just pay that money back. The beautiful thing is that if the shares are still going up, you can take the profits from those shares going up and pay back that money and use that to pay back the money as well. Just a little jewel. But so that's the reason why I have separate accounts. And as I was telling you in my intro, I may take some profits from some of these things and maybe open up a third account where I'm going to do maybe it's like some 6 month expirations or 3 month expirations and try to pop those, maybe take that thousand and see if I can 10x that, 30x that account. And then profits from that, I'll put into my leaps. Profits from my leaps, I'll put into my shares, which are, super less, a lot less risky. So the whole purpose is just to always try to protect your principal, PTP. You want to get as least risky as possible. Somebody like a Warren Buffett. Look at Warren Buffett. His returns might be, they say he's the best investor in the history of the world. He made 20% on his money. Of course, he's playing with billions. So 20% of billions is a good amount, right? And he's an investor, so it's different than trading. But I made 660% on my money. He made 20% on his money as an investor. Go to your investment banker, go to whoever, and tell them that you want to make 600% on your money this year. They'll look at you like you crazy. They'll be like, listen, that's impossible. You're not going to be able to do that. Be able to get you 4% on your money, 6% on your money, your Roth IRAs, your 401ks, and so forth and so on will get you this amount per year. Overall, by the time you're 60, by the time you're 80, you'll have this much money. I made 660% in 1 year. Still learning, still making a bunch of mistakes. So yeah, you could take some of your bread and put it in your 401k and, put it in some bonds or, whatever. You want to make 4% or you want to make 400%. That's all I'll say about that. So, but once again, so day to day, I'll just go in here and I'll be like, hey, this is what UNH did. UNH is down $33.60. Tesla's down 105. Met U is down $150. And then we'll just go through it and I'll just be tracking day to day, day to day. And like I said, it's going to be kind of boring for a lot of you that may want to be, day trading. And like I said, I'll teach you some things about day trading and some tools that you can use and some indicators that you can use. Not on this page. They'll probably be on my Patreon, and that'll be subscription based. But whatever the subscription is, if it's $100 a month, but I'm able to make you $500, $1,000 a month, then is it worth it? All right. You know what I mean? So once again, that's what I'll do. I'm right at 14 minutes right now, so I'll shut it down. But like I said, this is kind of just a little, this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'll go in, I'll either start on my brokerage page or I'll start on my charts, probably start on my charts because I'll just take a quick glance at it and be like, oh, dang, we down, and then I'll go into my brokerage and let you know what did what. Because sometimes, my shares account will be all green, but then my options account Might be all red, and it'll just wave up and down. The market turns, moves in waves, as you can see right here. So you're never going to get this, oh, I'm just making money, making money, making money. Get that out of your head right now. No matter what kind of trading you're doing, investing you're doing, it's never just going to go in a straight line. This is what happens. It goes up and down. So how would you just be making money and never have any red days and losses if the market moves in waves? And another thing, you can make money on the way up and make money on the way down. Calls and puts. Calls means you think in option language. Calls think means that you think that the market's going to go up. Puts means that you think the market is going to go down. You could also play shares like that too. There's leveraged ETF shares that are bull shares and bear shares. All right. So bull means you're going up, bear means you're going down. All right. You see some of these, this is meta, one of the techniques that I use. If you know what that is, you're probably a little bit more advanced. If you're a beginner, I'll teach you that, somewhere down the line. This 92% right here. If you know how to do this and find a target, it's really, really hard to lose. All right. But anyway, let me get back to I'm gonna call that a day on this video. How do I get back to my Zoom? There you go. No. All right. I'm gonna have to bear with me because I'm trying to get back to where I stopped the record. There we go. I told you I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get nice at the. You see this white background? I know there's all kind of different apps where you could have like super slick backgrounds and all that. I ain't learned how to use that yet, man. I ain't learned how to edit, so I'm gonna make some mistakes. I'm gonna stumble on my words. It just is what it is, man. Just gonna keep it a buck and just keep it real with you guys, and I'll get better. I'll get better. I did put some money into this already. I got me a webcam. I got me a microphone. So speakers, the volume should be nice and crisp and clear. And as I got a lighting kit that don't have to use. It's pretty bright right here. But as we go, I'll try to up the production value. But the main thing is just teach you guys how to trade and chronicle the journey. See if I can get from 20,000 to 200,000, which I am going to do, man. I am going to do that. Once again, you can follow me on Swing Trader Tone on IG, TikTok, and of course here on this YouTube page. And let's run up these subscriber numbers, man. I want to get 1,000 subscribers in my first, let's just say, 2 weeks. You know, I know 5,000 people. I know 1,000 people personally. You know what I mean? So if just you guys just go ahead and hit that subscribe and just watch and like, we could run that up and who knows, man. If I get some ad sales money, I'll take that and reinvest that into you guys. I'll reinvest it into production. If you're on the Patreon and you're subscribing, then I'm gonna have me some giveaways or something like that because no matter what, I'm going to do what I do. You know what I mean? I'm trading for the bread. I'm not really relying on subscribers and ad sales and all that stuff. And I still work, still stage manage. I probably only work maybe like, I was going to say half the year, but I don't even work half the year, man, to be honest, man. I don't work 180 days as a freelancer. There's just not that much work. I probably work 3, 4 months out of the year, but the money that I make is decent money, and I'm keeping this is another jewel, man. Just keep your expenses low. Want to get into this life, keep your expenses low. You don't gotta, buy the newest whip. You could do that after 3 years, 4 years, man. Just be easy. Delayed gratification. All right. Just that's what I'm doing right now, man. I just recently got divorced, went from having 4 properties, you know, over a couple $1 million worth of properties to nothing. To nothing. I didn't take anything. I let her have everything. I'm in Texas, so that's a community property state. If I really wanted to trip, the judge would have been like, "Listen, split that in half." Nah, you know what I mean? And I'm Southside Jamaica, Queens, man. I'm like, I needed that battery in my back. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, all right, you don't want to give me none of that? Let me show you how to hustle, man. Let me show you I want to come up. So by the next 2 years, I expect to be a millionaire off of trading. All right. We're gonna leave it at that, man. Leave it alone. Leave it alone, Tone. But yeah, so this is what you could expect tomorrow. And then we'll go from there, man. All right. Appreciate you guys following me. Love you guys. One love.